Gonzo, you've been brilliant. Hammers chat all the way, baby.
Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's just finished Aston Villa 0, West Ham United 0. What was a potential entertaining game despite not many chances for either side. We're here to talk about the highlights, which may include cards and tackles and Mike Dean. Gonzo at half time 0-0. Not much chances in the first half to talk about, but a few talking points. What was your thoughts at the break?
Cheating, Gio. Basically here seeing a lot of cheating, I thought as well. Namby-pamby, flopsy-wopsy, limp-wristed, just barefaced cheating, rolling around on the floor whilst we kick it out and they pretend to be injured. They're not really injured. There's a rule in place, which is head injuries. We should be playing towards it. They're all dancing to the same tune, and well, Mike Dean or whatever his name is was the Pied Piper that was calling that tune. It was absolutely ridiculous. What I thought they were. We were the more robust in our tackle. Mark Noble was getting into it very, very early and picked up an early card, which I'm not surprised about, to be fair, because it was accumulative. So he was notching up the fouls, but he was trying to put his foot in. But I thought we were firm but fair. I thought we were able to get at them a little bit. They had more chances in the box, but I thought in terms of open play, maybe we were certainly a little bit better, and I wasn't disappointed with 0-0 at half time because it's going to be tricky to go away to Villa.
Tom, what about yourself? What were you thinking at half time after what was, in my opinion, a half of tackles? Sorry.
Yeah, it was a bit beefy, but I did feel comfortable. I felt like we was kind of in control, and I was expecting us to kick on in the second half and get even better. Like Gonzo said, I do think that they just edged the chances but we sort of had control of the game in the middle of the park for such large spells. I thought people like Lanzini were starting to control the game, especially as the half went on. So yeah, I was just expecting more of the same and even better going into the second half.
I think it was a half of tackles for me from both sides. I thought both sides were not holding back, should we say. I think the yellow cards were deserved. I think there was another couple of players on the radar of Mike Dean. Issa Diop for one was a couple of fouls in the first 5 minutes. Both Allaire and Wesley were really showing what they are in terms of a type of striker. They were both really giving the centre backs trouble, winning more than their fair share. I thought Lanzini was by far our best player in the first half, getting in behind, should you say, of McGinn. They couldn't really track him. Fabianski, they were offside, but 2 big saves from Fabianski. He didn't know they were offside, from both from McGinn, I think, but superb saves by him. It's not criticism, it's an observation. My only observation from the first half, I thought Allaire was very unselfish, and I think he could have been a bit more selfish. There was a couple of times he got the ball in the box. He might have had his back to the goal, but we saw with Aubameyang at Watford, that's what Aubameyang does. One touch, turn, bang, goal. And Allaire was laying his teammates off. And listen, I'm sure in the long term we will benefit from him being unselfish. But I found myself a bit frustrated at him a couple of times. I thought, hit it! But he was trying to lay players off and they weren't then taking the chances. But at half time, I thought it was a fair game. I thought it was a 0-0 half. But the big talking point comes... Well, there was one in the first... Actually, let's talk about the one in the first half, Gonzo. 2 Villa players, Mings and El Ghazi, went head-to-head. By letter of the law, violent conduct is a red card. Was that violent conduct for you?
No, not for me. And I'm going to whinge about Aston Villa quite a lot and the goalkeeper quite a lot. Aston Villa did a lot wrong today. And there was some thuggish... There was some cowardice, there was some two-footed stuff, but I didn't mind that because whilst I thought they were a bunch of weasels, Aston Villa, there was a man amongst them, and that man was Tyrone Mings. And I can't sit here and talk about how much I love Billy Bonds, and then the other day I was saying players that play for other teams, I liked Roy Keane and I liked Tony Adams. I can't say that and then criticise Tyrone Mings there. In fact, I looked at it and I thought, I want that guy in my team. He had showed leadership qualities. I loved the way he was shouting that he wasn't getting the correct defence. I thought, I didn't mind that at all. I think that should be allowed. I'm not saying you should be allowed to headbutt your teammate. Maybe that's going too far. But I think you should be allowed a little bit of argy-bargy. I don't think there's enough of that in football. I wonder how much of that is down to John Terry being on the bench. But it's a leader. There's not enough leaders. I had no problem with that at all. There were many things wrong with Aston Villa today, but I didn't think that was one of them.
Tom, you look like you either want to kiss Gonzo or you're thinking there. Were you agreeing or disagreeing?
Mate.
Come on.
Well, come on then, mate. But no, I was thinking, because I'm stuck in two minds here with this one, because I don't want to see that being given as a red card. I don't want to see the game go that way. I don't think it should be. But I keep casting my mind back to Lee Bowyer and Kieran Dyer. Weren't they both sent off? I'm convinced they were both sent off. So it must be letter of the law. Referee's got to go with that, or VAR's got to intervene and say it was a red card.
Yeah, I'm a bit like Tom. I'm stuck in two minds. Letter of the law is... The thing is, for me, it's not really a headbutt. El Ghazi, he bumps his head towards Mings, but it's not a headbutt, in my opinion. That's just a little bump, isn't it? I don't want to see him sent off either. But the one player that was sent off, Tom, Arthur Masuaku's second yellow card in the 66th minute. I think it was Al Hamandi, was it, who just came on, skinned him and went down. Second yellow for you, or...?
No, not at all. Really wound up by that, to be honest with you. I think Mike Dean has got that drastically wrong. It's all about him. It's obviously no coincidence that he's dished out the most red cards in Premier League history. He loves it, don't he? I mean, I'm not even sure that was a foul. And was there even much? I just don't know if there was actually any contact. I'd need to see it a few more times to make up my mind on that. That just goes to show there weren't a lot in it. And even if it was a foul, not every foul is a yellow card offence. This is what winds me up. He's made two fouls, if you like, Masuaku, and he's gone off. Have a word with him. It's your final warning. There's not enough of that. He's just too keen to dish that yellow card out. And I think it's affected us, because we'll probably talk about this later, but yeah, it might be a good point away from home on the face of it when you look at that. But at that point, I was thinking we could get all three, and I just thought it stifled us completely. So, yeah, I'm seriously annoyed. Mike Dean's got that terribly wrong.
Gonzo?
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget the Aston Villa player's role in this as well. He cheated. That was, I mean, lessons clearly not been learnt from Jack Grealish, and this time it worked out for them. So, I mean, he took a dive. There's no doubt about it at all, but it was consistent with the way they played. As I say, rolling around, feigning injury for most of the game as well. So there's a lot to play for. But Tom made a lovely point there about Mike D wanting to be the centre of attention. You've only got to look at the way the man moves. Every gesture is theatrical. It's all done. It's look at this, and there's the card, and and it's almost like he's doing a robotic dance. But it is every movement is flamboyant, and it's clearly. He's basking in the attention. He'd obviously had a little quiet period in that game where nothing had happened. Mike Dean hadn't really featured at all. Every wag of the finger, no, it's all... I mean, it's ridiculous. The guy he's not only is he a useless referee, and he was having a useless game, and I'm not absolving Masuaku. Masuaku was having a crap game, let's be fair. Zabaleta came on and was a better left-back in the 10 minutes he was on than Masuaku played at left-back. So I'm not absolving Masuaku. He was having a crap game, but that referee was awful. Attention-seeking, incompetent, awful referee, and he looks like an horrible man as well.
Gonzo, the Villa player, anticipated the tackle from Masuaku. There was no contact. Should he have been booked for diving?
Well, we discussed this when we were discussing our Premier League preview, of course, and we were talking the fantasy football, whatever we were talking about, and we spoke about enough contact to make someone fall over. Be an adult, be a grown up. Don't fall over like you've been tickled with a feather. This is a contact sport. It's meant to be a contact game. I don't want to see that disappear out of it. It was a dive. And he should have seen it coming.
So should have been booked, the Villa player?
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. It's not like I want...
I want a yes or no for you here. I want a yes or no. Should he have been booked for diving?
I don't know, is that the rules? Yeah, maybe it was a dive
So-
if that's what's applied.
So should Mark Noble have got a second
Oh,
yellow
I'm sorry,
card?
that was a dive. Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. I can't sit here and criticise Grealish the other week and then
Yeah.
not criticise Noble for that. That was a dive. Yeah, fine. I've no problem with that.
Yeah, I agree with you, actually. I think Noble was very lucky. I think it's a stupid thing to do. For someone so experienced, and I think he knew he Noble was waiting for the leg from the Villa defender, went down, realised it didn't come, and got straight back up. It's very similar to Jack Grealish. The Masuaku one for me, the Villa player anticipates Masuaku's leg. His leg goes in and comes out pretty quickly. His arm goes out and comes back in pretty quickly. Masuaku knows, if I touch this guy, I'm in trouble here. So he doesn't touch him, but he's still in trouble. And I just think, like Tom says, Mike Dean's just too quick to give him the second yellow. And this is where VAR will again come under the spotlight. That if that was a straight red, it gets reviewed, like McGinn's tackle. And he went in on, I think it was Noble, and it was right. Dean, I say, hang on a minute, I'm just getting to see if that's a red card or not. But because it's a second yellow, it doesn't get reviewed. Now, that's the rules. But it's just a bit. Masuaku would have been better off trying to punch him and missing, because he would have got to stay on the pitch in that manner. But because he's got the second yellow, he's had to go off. But I disagree with what Tom said. Tom said this stifled our attack. I actually think we played better with 10 men. I think it spurred us on a little bit. I thought we found a new lease of life. I thought we were quicker going forward. I thought we were very pedestrian with 11 players on the pitch, and we started to up the game. But Gonzo, between then and, well, the whole second half, Gonzo, what did you make of the whole second half?
I do think we've all alluded to it. I do think it's a good point away from home. I think other teams will go there and not do quite so well. I think it's a struggle when you can only attack down one side of the pitch, and that was clearly a hindrance for us. I liked what Lanzini was doing, and I just thought we grew into the game, particularly with Noble and Rice. I thought the longer the game went on, the better they got, the more influence they had on the game. It was any attack that we were going to do. So, I mean, Haller had the header, yeah, which, funny enough, I was thinking of Tammy Abraham's header when that ball came over. Did you see it? But he scored for Chelsea. I was thinking maybe something like that. It didn't quite happen because he did actually get ahead of Mings. So, but that ball came over from Felipe Anderson. So that was the best chance at that point in the game. It was if the attack wasn't going to come from Felipe Anderson or Lanzini, it wasn't going to come at all. And neither wing was particularly good today, but one was a lot better than the other, if you know what I mean. And it had to come down that left hand side. I thought Diop and Ogbonna were resolute as well. And particularly, I mean, we were thankful for Fabianski, weren't we, after the first half, really, where he pulled off a number of saves. I think there was a lot to admire today. We couldn't quite get our final third stuff going. We looked a little bit blunt in attack, and then at times not bad in midfield and quite resolute in defence.
Tom, 0-0 at full time. What were you thinking? What's your thoughts on the game?
I was just disappointed because I was just desperate for us to get all three. I mean, from a personal point of view as well, living up here, I'm full of Villa fans. My work's full of Villa fans. I was just desperate to get one over on them all. I was desperate for us, even though it don't mean anything 5 games into the season, I was desperate for us to get that going to third place. It just would have been nice, wouldn't it? And the positivity would have continued. I guess it still will, because, as Gonzo said, to be fair, on the face of it, especially with 10 men, a point away from home in the Premier League, you can never say that's a bad result. But it just would have been lovely to get all 3, wouldn't it? And I suppose you could say the newly promoted teams, we really should be beating all of them, shouldn't we?
I think today we got a reminder of why Felipe Anderson's not a top 6 club, why no one's coming for Lanzini yet. They just weren't on the ball, I don't think. I actually think the red card gives some players, and Pellegrini maybe a get out of jail card. Not so much they need one, but it's an excuse. It's changed. 2 points dropped to 1 point gain pretty quickly when Masuaku got that second yellow. It allows us to come away with a point. I still think a point's good there, but just with the nature of the thing, and before the game, I've never seen so much positivity from West Ham fans heading into a game. Before, everybody was confident, everybody was looking forward to it. And, Masuaku's red card was wrong, but it swings and roundabouts. Mark Noble should have been sent off for me in the first half. So while we're all going to complain about one, I think it's important to remember that actually we could have been down to 10 a lot sooner had Mike Dean not been so quick to get his yellow cards out. I actually thought we were quite slow today at passing the ball about. I don't think we created much at all. I thought Villa defences handled Allaire when they needed to. I thought when the ball was coming from goal kicks and that, I thought he was causing them trouble. But when it got into their box, I thought they were actually coping fine enough because they were making him play with his back to their goal. He wasn't able to turn in the box, so he was having to do the layoff. Like I said, I would have liked to have seen him turn and shoot. He did in the second half, and they blocked it. Rice had a shot, they blocked it. Villa played well defensively. They were very organised. They were forcing Felipe Anderson down the left onto his left foot, which he clearly didn't like doing. The right side, as Gonzo's alluded to, we didn't really have much come from there. So let's talk about those individual players. Tom, take your pick. Praise or criticise. Freedom is yours.
Yeah, I thought Fabianski was terrific, as always, especially in that first half. Absolutely brilliant. I actually thought Lanzini had a really good game. I thought he was trying to carry the ball. He never loses it, does he? He just always looks so comfortable. He's so good to watch. Just love the bloke. So I thought he played well. Allaire, it's a bit disappointing that I think he was starved of service more than anything. Personally, I think what he did do, he did well, but we needed to get him into the game a little bit more than what we actually did. Our fullbacks, so they were both pretty quiet, I thought, until the red card, actually. I thought Fredericks all of a sudden started finding a little bit more space. Funnily enough, on the right-hand side, I know that doesn't really make sense, but he sort of did as the game went on. So that was a little bit disappointing that they weren't supplying more width to us earlier on in the game. So I thought we could have caused some problems there. Declan Rice, after the red card, was outstanding. And I thought he was absolutely everywhere, all over the park, made some great tackles and interceptions. He was brilliant.
Gonzo?
Yeah, I mean, let's go straight with Declan Rice because, as Tom has suggested there, he was brilliant. He was fantastic today, and as I say, grew into the game. Mark Noble, ably assisted by Mark Noble, next to him. I was, it's tough on the right. I don't want to keep banging on about Yarmolenko. I am not convinced about Yarmolenko. There's a few players I'm not convinced about. And because I do think we should be a team of wingers, in the same way I'm not convinced when Fornals comes on and plays wide there. It's a shame what's happened to Antonio, because I do actually think we're one pacey winger away from it, a very, very good side indeed, particularly when we want to counter-attack. And it's a lot of burden on Felipe Anderson if he's not at the races. Then there's just too much. There's too much onus on him to do something. If you look, when people are afraid of being nutmegged by Felipe Anderson, so what you'll see is defence backs off. You watch. As soon as he gets the ball, they back off, which gives him space to run into. We could really exploit that. Well, whilst everyone's watching him, if there was someone fast coming through on the other side. Haller, for all his qualities, is not a quick player. As well, of course, I like the way Lanzini played in the first half, I've got to say. Diop and Ogbonna, as I've mentioned, I thought played really well. Bad game from Arthur Masuaku, who was like a different player to the one that played against Norwich today. I'm not including the red cards in that, by the way. There was enough to criticise him for without doing that. He kept on underlapping, if you know what I mean. We don't want him running inside Felipe Anderson, we want him running outside. Zabaleta came on and showed him exactly how to do it when he came on. Yeah, the right side does worry me a little bit, but I don't think there is a solution there at the moment. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty. And obviously Fabianski was did himself proud today. But let's also say back-to-back clean sheets. If we can beat, it's Man U next, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, if we could beat Manchester United, it might sound silly, but I don't think it is. This looked like a very good point.
Yeah, I think it is a good point, regardless of the Man United one. I think you take each game individually if you can, and I think a point's fine, given it, especially when we consider context and the way the game went as well. I think it becomes an even better point. I think we worked hard tonight, actually. That's one thing I will say. I thought from first whistle to the last, I thought every player, regardless of if they played well or not, I thought they all put in a graft. I saw Yarmolenko running 20 yards back, chasing the left back at one point. He doesn't like doing it, and he got to the end and tried to take him out, but he still did the running part of it. I thought everybody worked hard. I think in the last 10 minutes, I think both teams were suffering. I think the tempo of the game was really high from the word go, and I think everybody come to the last 10 minutes was just knackered from both sides. I think they were just, sort of, can we just quit the game here, please, and just accept 0-0 and pack up. I thought individually, I thought Diop was shaky in the first half. I thought Wesley had the better of him and he looked a bit nervous, but I thought Ogbonna was solid. But there was that tackle at the end, Diop did, where he just went through the guy, didn't he? Yeah, it was a 50-50 and Diop thought, I'm having this, and the ball went into Rose's head and the striker went on his arse behind Diop, and he thought that's what you need from him. I thought we were professional for the last 25 minutes. It's very easy to get carried away a little bit and then really expose yourself. I thought Noble was good. Noble worries me on a booking because he's still quite committed. He still doesn't shy away from putting his foot in, but he knows how to talk himself out of a second yellow card, Mark Noble. That's something that Matthew never got the chance to do. But I reckon if Mark Noble made that challenge, I think Mike Dean would have went over and spoke to Mark Noble and said, listen mate, cut it down. I feel sorry for Yarmolenko, I thought he was trying to make things happen. It didn't work out. There's at one point he tried a little flip over the defence and it just went into the hands of the keeper. You could see what he's trying to do. It's just frustrating a little bit watching him sometimes. I think the fullbacks were neither nor. I don't think they were bad, but I don't think they were good. I'll tell you what though, I thought Fornals did well when he come on actually. I thought he opened the game up a little bit. The only criticism of him is at the very end he had an opportunity to take a shot and for whatever reason he decided not to do it, and it just especially this time where we've had so many limited shooting opportunities, we broke and everything was perfect. The pass to, I think it was Allaire and Noble and all that were involved, everything was perfect to give it to Fornals, and you just thought, go on son, hit it, and he stopped, and I think he played over to Lanzini on the other side. Like, no, just go for it, take your chance. But I thought everyone played, something, I don't think anyone had a bad game. I thought Rice was superb, I thought Noble was good, I thought Lanzini was good, I thought Allaire was good but limited by the Villa defence. But Gonzo, can I get your final words please and your hammer of the match?
Final words, we will so one of those games where the referee has taken the limelight. Fortunately, we weren't punished in a way that I don't know what Mike Dean was trying to do. Apart from gain, I think he was trying to engineer it so Aston Villa would win? No, probably not. But because he let his ego run away with him, because he wanted to be the star of the show, he got something wrong. What Tom said was a great point about him being too quick. You'd think somebody that experience could learn to count to 10 and just think, hold on, calm, just push everyone away, think about it in his mind, think about it in his mind, just take 10 seconds and then not act in haste. He did act in haste. That will grab the headlines. Despite that, I thought we were resolute. It's a shame because we're still a -1 goal difference, but back-to-back clean sheets, a defensive pairing that is getting better with each game. I was a little bit cross with Aston Villa, and I still am. I do think there's a lot of cheating going on there, but actually in players like Wesley and Grealish and Jimmy Majin, they've got some good players there who can open and they will cause other teams problems and they will score goals against other teams. So there's a lot to go on, but I just thought no real surprise. Because after the England criticism, he's a strong man. He's a resolute guy. He's strong mentally. Declan Rice to come up and gets my man of the match, but I'm not surprised because that's how he responds to adversity.
Tom, your final words and your hammer of the match, please.
Yeah, still positivity as far as I'm concerned. Like I say, we look at that in hindsight as a good point. We're unbeaten since the opening day of the season. Gonzo said 2 clean sheets on the bounce, when we was all worried about how the defence was going to do this season. So that's a positive sign. It's just such a shame now that just when it looked like we'd got ourselves a settled back four for first time in such a long time, we've got Masuaku suspended now for the next game, so it's obviously going to have to change. But like I say, keeps the momentum going for a little bit. I'm still confident going into the next game. Hammer of the match, exactly the same. Declan Rice, outstanding. As that game opened up, and later on when the red card came, I think he really took it upon himself. To be honest, he was everywhere. He looked quick. He looked strong. He was dominant. Absolutely fantastic performance from him. Delighted for him. Declan Rice, hammer of the match.
Yeah, my man of the match is Declan Rice as well. But I was tempted to give it to Ogbonna again. Actually, I thought he didn't put a foot wrong. He did not do. There was at one point he risked giving away a penalty at one point, and I think it was in the second half early on. And the cross come in with Wesley. And he just held Wesley, so Wesley couldn't move, but he just let go of Wesley at the right time. So Wesley was already standing stationary complaining, and Ogbonna just jogged off, left him standing on the penalty spot, ball was out for a goal kick, and Wesley standing there throwing a tantrum. And he thought, well, that's where the Italian side of Ogbonna comes out. It's cheating, but it's clever. I'm not going to lay into Villa like Gonzo did, because I think at the end of the day, Martin Noble dived to get us a pen. Ryan Fredericks at the very end dived to try and gain a penalty. So I think I think both sides were at it a little bit in terms of the play acting. I think it was even Stevens there. I think there's plenty of positivities to take from tonight's game. Actually, I'm feeling good. I feel good after tonight's game. We did okay, and we'll move on to Sunday. But Tom, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Gonzo, thank you as always.
Thank you.
Let us know in the comments below your thoughts on tonight's game. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're around here, and you can join myself, Gonzo, and one other later on this week, as we will be looking ahead to Sunday's game as we take on Manchester United at the London Stadium. Catch you in a bit.